Journey IFC strives to create safe spaces to worship God. Know that you are welcome just as you are, regardless of religious background or lack thereof, skin color, political affiliation, sexuality, age, culture, or any other label you own or society throws on you. You are welcomed and celebrated here just as you are.
Our reading this morning comes from Matthew chapter 2, verses 1 through 12. In the time of King Herod, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem asking, "Where is the child who has been born King of the Jews? For we have observed his star in the east and come to pay him homage." When King Herod heard this, he was frightened, and all of Jerusalem with him. He inquired of them where the Messiah was to be born. They told him, "Well, in Bethlehem of Judea. For it has been written by the prophet. And you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judea, are by no means least among the rulers of Judea. For from you shall come a ruler who is to shepherd my people Israel." Then Herod secretly called for the Magi, and he learned from them the exact time when the star had first appeared. Then he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, "Go and search diligently for this child, and when you have found him, bring me word so that I may go and also pay homage." When they had heard the king, they set out, and there ahead of them went the star that had been seen in the east, until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw that the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. On entering the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they knelt down and paid him homage. Then, opening their treasure chest, they offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream to not return to Herod, they left for their own country by a different road.
So like I said, we have come to the end of our 'Tis the Season series. So today we're going to look at two final seasonal songs. They're not both Christmas songs, but you get the gist. So since today is the first day of 2023, Happy New Year, right? We had to start with the classic New Year's Eve song, Auld Lang Syne. Auld Lang Syne is a Scots phrase that can be translated as long old since, which doesn't make sense to me. So it can be even more smoothly translated as for old time's sake. This song is attributed to a man named Robert Burns, who wrote down these lyrics to what he considered an ancient song. So while he wrote it down in 1788, the song is presumed to be much, much older than that. So Auld Lang Syne is a song about remembering the old times from the past year and raising a glass to those memories. The song begins with a question, kind of along the lines of, should old friends be forgotten? Should we forget what happened this past year? It's a song that acknowledges the past, the experiences, the people, all of that, while also preparing us for whatever's next, the future. This is why the song is so popular around the new year, right? Because it's a song about transitioning from then to now. And the tradition is that people typically sing this, Auld Lang Syne, as the new year rolls in, and we probably have tried this ourselves or done it ourselves. But Auld Lang Syne is used in various other traditions, which I thought was pretty fascinating, typically when things are coming to an end. So it's been used in closing rituals and ceremonies. Scouts apparently use it for jamborees, at the end of jamborees. And it even shows up in non-English speaking countries. In a lot of ways, it's been like national anthems for a while. But I also read that in Japan, stores will play it to announce the closing of the day. Isn't that interesting? Kind of like closing time when you're at the bar and they play that to you gotta go home kind of thing.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, of course. You don't know what that means. But this song has been used to mark many periods of transition from the old times to whatever the new is. In the version we heard sang this morning by David Lamont, who is an amazing guy, and I have met him personally. I love him. He actually wrote the last two verses himself. And so in response to the past year, Lamont wrote that these additional verses to be, to signal kind of the loss of friends that he'd experienced, the continuation of friendships into the new year, the rough paths already walked, and those that lie ahead. I actually saw this on Facebook because I follow him on Facebook, and I thought it was a lovely sentiment to start off the year, so that's why I brought this version. I love the idea of writing new lyrics to this traditional song, and it makes me wonder what words we would set to this tune. How would we mark what has happened this past year and welcome the year to come? What words do we need to sing? If you are a stickler for Christmas holiday season stuff, which I'm not, you may know that Christmas is more than a single day where we just get gifts from some guy with a beard and a big red suit. Instead, it's this whole church season that actually lasts more than just one day. So Christmas begins on Christmas Day, but it continues for 12 days until January 6th, which is where we get the 12 days of Christmas. That's where that comes from. And then on the 12th day of Christmas, we celebrate Epiphany, which is what my hat says on it, or the story when, the Magi from the east come and visit Jesus. The name Epiphany comes from the Greek word epiphaneia, which is a really cool word, epiphaneia, meaning appearance or manifestation. And it refers to the manifestation of Jesus Christ to the world. And Epiphany marks in particular the manifestation or the revelation of Jesus to the non-Jewish world. So these unnamed Magi from the east travel this great distance, we don't know how far. They're guided by some star in the sky, and they gain these new insights or epiphanies, as we might call them, when they meet this young Jesus. So on Epiphany, that's why we sing about the Magi. That's why we had that song there. The song We Three Kings tells the story of three wise men from the Orient who brought gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh as gifts for baby Jesus. Written by John Henry Hopkins Jr. in 1857, this song was created for a church Christmas pageant in New York. I thought that was really interesting. And it's known as the first American made Christmas carol to go popular. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I saw online. So while the song is a classic, it does seem to have some of the details wrong, I'll be honest. It's a great song, we love it, but it really doesn't stick to the biblical example. First off, we have no idea how many people came to visit Jesus. Some traditions even say that there were 12 Magi that came and visited. But tradition has it that there's 3 gifts, so they just assume 3 people. That makes it simple. We also have no indication that these people were kings, let alone men. We don't know. We just assume all these things. We also only know that they came from the east. We're not sure where in particular. But history has taken some creative liberties, I would say, and added to the Magi story. And this was done for many reasons. History liked a neat and tidy story. 3 people, and men specifically, from a known region who were kings, bringing extravagant gifts to a newborn king, that made more sense for them. Making these people kings removed the mystical parts of the story that made them uncomfortable, but are the parts that I love about it. Them being kings makes it more Christianized or easier to be okay with it, in our Christmas story. But these people were actually Magi's, or people who could use the stars to travel and to predict future happenings. They were mystics, probably pagans even. They were people from a foreign region and a foreign religion. So the presence of the Magi's in the story suggests that Jesus was revealed to the entire world, not just the Jewish world. That's what's so cool about the Magi. And that's what we celebrate on this day, that Jesus was revealed to all of us. The Magi eventually, get this whole backstory around their names, and, all these traditions have put where they're from. There's Balthazar, he's the first one who's represented as the king of Arabia, or sometimes Ethiopia. Then there's Melchior, who is seen as the king of Persia. And then there's Gaspar, who's supposedly a king of India. We don't know. This is all made up. In this way, these Magi have been used to symbolize the world powers coming together to honor and witness what God was doing through this newborn, so-called King of the Jews. And this made King Herod upset, right? Because Jesus represented something that risked, put King Herod's life and job at risk. Talk of prophecies about this new king was a direct challenge to Herod, so he gathered the Magi and sent them to follow a star to find this new king, Jesus. Herod asked the Magi to report back to him so that he could go and also pay homage to this baby, but we know that was not really what Herod wanted to do, right? Herod wanted Jesus to be killed so he could retain his power. And we know this because after the Magi meet with Mary and Jesus and after they offer their gifts, they return home on a different road, as to not run into King Herod or his men. The Magi were protecting this child. And Herod got mad and ordered boys under the age of 2 in that region to be killed. So therefore, Mary, Jesus, and Joseph had to go into hiding. So the Magi represented the world coming together to witness this new thing, right? This new beginning. But they also represented mercy for the vulnerable baby Jesus. The Magi went back a different road because they were changed and wanted to protect this newborn king. They left renewed. In our second song today, We Three Kings, we hear in detail about the gifts that the Magi bring. First, we get gold, apparently from Gaspar. Gold was meant to represent royalty. It marks that they probably were acknowledging Jesus' legitimacy to, this new kingship. We don't know again. Second, we get frankincense from Melchior. And frankincense is, used in incense and perfumes, and it also has all these health benefits, and it can be used to cleanse bodies, and it also is offered as a sacrifice to God. So this gift seems to maybe mark that, they were acknowledging Jesus' divinity. We don't know. And then finally, the strangest gift of all of them, we get myrrh from Balthazar. So myrrh was an anointing oil used for burial, an embalming oil, actually. And it was, I would say that's a weird gift for a baby. Here's your new baby, here's some embalming fluids. But it seems to mark that Jesus' mortality was something that was brought up, and maybe foreshadows his untimely death. Again, we don't know. It's hard to know exactly what these gifts really represent, but they do make me wonder why these gifts in particular were so important that they were written down for all of us to hear years later. So I'll have to say, if you get anything from our story today, it may be that whatever baby gift you give someone will always be better than what the Magi got. What will the baby do with gold, or with medicine oils, or with embalming fluids? These are the worst gifts. I would never give that. I'm going to give like a baby book. I don't know, but teach their own, I guess. So as we begin our new year, we start off with a story of some mysterious people with these strange gifts who followed a star to witness something new taking place. We hear a story about people who experienced something new and they left changed. We also sing a song about old times coming to an end and raising a glass to whatever is next. Similar to the Magi traveling home, we leave this year changed in some ways. And now we travel a new road, ready for whatever epiphany is about to arise, ready for whatever new adventure we are meant for next. But we carry with us all that has gone on before. We carry those that we lost this past year, those that we met, all the experiences we had, both the good and the bad. So this past year has shaped us and prepared us to start over again. And there are no promises that the road ahead won't be rocky. Heck, one of Jesus' baby gifts was meant for death, embalming fluids. It's a sign that there's trouble ahead. It's not all going to be good. Where we travel next might be just as messy and frustrating as the past, but we face it changed by this past year. So, journey, I say that we raise a metaphorical glass of sorts to the year that has just finished. And let us continue the journey together as we face whatever is next. Let us be like the Magi who experienced this great epiphany and returned home on a new road as new people. Happy New Year.
Amen. I figured I'd wait with my word, which was wisdom. And wisdom is knowing that you're not smart enough to know it all. That's true wisdom. So, what do we say about going into this next year? We've had a tough year behind, and it's nice to rely on that as learning experience and growth experience. And there's been laughter, there's been hurt. But just like those 3 kings, maybe we should not keep on that same path and keep going that same way. Avoid Herod this year. Go a different way. That's part of what Epiphany is, right? So know this. We are blessed. And whatever path we go on, whether we choose it or it's chosen for us, it's still a path that needs to be traveled. A poet once said, a road diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled. And that has made all the difference. So go in peace on whatever path you were led down this year, and understand that the path sometimes can diverge many, many times. So not only go in peace, but go with God. Amen.
Amen.